Okay, good morning all. We'll start with three-phase induction motor. Okay, can you listen me, everyone? Okay, can everyone see PDF?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in previous lecture we have seen the construction of three-phase induction motor, its working principle, its types, and difference between two types. Okay. In short, I'll revise. On stator, three-phase windings are there. In terminal box, 6 terminals using which you can connect these windings either in star or in delta. Okay. And stator core is laminated. It is made up of silicon steel. Physically poles are not there. You can wound stator windings either for 2 pole, 4 pole, 6 pole, 8 or 8 pole depending on applications. Okay. Again, next thing is rotor core made up of cast iron. Again, it is laminated. Two different types of rotors, squirrel cage and slip ring. In slip ring induction motor, 3 windings are there and they are always star connected and they are wound for same number of poles as that of on stator. Okay. In slip ring external resistance you can add with the help of slip ring brush arrangement. Why there is a need to add external resistance? Because you can increase starting torque produced by motor, and also variable speed is possible, means to change speed is possible with the change in rotor resistance. So that is the facility available in slip ring, that is phase wound three-phase induction motor. External resistance you can change, starting torque you can increase, and speed of motor also you can change. Due to slip ring brush arrangement, maintenance cost is more in slip ring induction motor, that is the phase wound. External resistance you can add here. If you see, construction of rotor of slip ring is more complicated compared to another type. So costing increases, losses are more, efficiency is less. Only 5% are used of slip ring induction motor to produce highest starting torque like cranes, elevators. What's about squirrel cage? In rotor slots, bars are there. Okay, these bars are shorted from both the ends with the help of circular end ring. If bars are made up of copper, then end ring is also made up of copper. Complete circuit is shorted. Its rotor resistance is very less. Okay, so this is about the construction. And squirrel cage rotor, it produces moderate starting torque. You can't change the rotor resistance. Working principle also we have seen. Once you apply three-phase AC voltage to three-phase star or delta connected stator windings, it produces rotating magnetic field. Whatever the rotating magnetic field produced by stator winding, it has one particular speed which is called as synchronous speed of rotating magnetic field. Okay, this synchronous speed of rotating magnetic field, it rotate at speed ns is equals to 120 f by p, means it depends on supply frequency and number of poles on stator, directly proportional to frequency and inversely proportional to number of poles. Okay, and it has one particular direction. Okay, it has one particular Okay, so whatever this is synchronous speed, it has one particular direction always from leading phase to lagging phase. Okay, so consider it is rotating in clockwise direction. Now this rotating magnetic field produced by stator, it comes in contact with stationary rotor. So as per Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, EMF get induced in rotor conductors or windings. Circuit is closed one in rotor, that's why current starts to flow. It is the case like current carrying conductor, you are going to put in a rotating magnetic field. So each and every conductor force act on it, torque is produced, and the windings are so designed that whatever the torque acting on each and every rotor conductor, because of it rotor rotate in one particular direction. As per Lenz's law, whatever this speed is because of torque, which is because of force, it is because of rotor current, rotor induced EMF, and this induced EMF is because of rotating magnetic field. So as per Lenz's law, this speed of rotor, in which direction it will rotate, as per Lenz's law, it will oppose the cause producing it, and for it causes rotating magnetic field, and it is rotating in clockwise direction. So rotor will rotate in such a direction so that relative speed difference between rotating magnetic field and speed of rotor is less. If both are rotating in opposite direction with each other, then that relative speed difference will be more. So as per Lenz's law, to reduce the cause of it opposes the cause producing it, rotor also rotate in same direction as that of rotating magnetic field. Okay, so we have seen for frequency 50 hertz, number of poles on on stator, suppose 4, ns we get 1500 rpm, and now consider rotor is rotating at 1300 rpm. Suppose this is 1300 rpm rotor speed, I told you it is always less than speed of rotating magnetic field. Why? Because of rotor inertia. Suppose rotating magnetic field, it rotates at 1500 rpm, so speed of rotor will be less than that. Why? Because of rotor inertia. Okay, so it always rotate at speed which is less than speed of rotating magnetic field. So relative speed difference, when it will be less, rotating magnetic field 1500 rpm, rotor speed consider 1300 rpm. So relative speed difference when it will be less, when both are rotating in same direction. Okay, now if this rotor direction also you can reverse. To reverse it, you have to reverse this one, rotating magnetic field. And how you can reverse rotating magnetic field, that we have seen here. How we apply three-phase AC supplied to three-phase stator winding, R2R, Y2Y, and B2B. Swap any two terminals, then direction of rotating magnetic field will change, and so that the rotor direction also will change. Okay, up to this we have seen. Now see, ns is what? That is the speed of rotating magnetic field. What is capital N? It's the speed of rotor. So ns minus n upon ns, it is called as slip of three-phase induction motor, which is denoted by capital S. So S, which is slip, it is equals to ns minus n upon ns. Okay, all of you have to concentrate, because based on that numerical will definitely be there. MCQ questions also, and 4 marks and 6 marks question also. Okay, everyone concentrate. And based on that, theory questions also there and numericals also there. Okay, so slip, it is denoted by capital S, which is equal to ns minus n upon ns, and percent slip multiplied by 100. Okay, if you simplify this formula, what we get? N, it is equals to ns into 1 minus s. Okay, now you tell me, the moment you start, formula of slip all of you know. The moment you switch on supply voltage, what will be the value of S? Who can tell? Yes. The moment you switch on supply voltage, what is the means condition at t equals to 0? The moment you switch on supply voltage, who can tell what is the value of S? At start, what about speed of rotor? So three-phase induction motor, it works on which principle? Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, mutual induction. Very good, 32. Value of S is 1. Very good. Okay. So the moment you switch on, at that moment for few millisecond, microsecond, rotor is not rotating, it is stationary, means n is 0. Okay, so if n is 0 at start, what is the value of n is 0? What is the value of s? ns by ns, so it will be 1. Everyone keep in your mind. In mcq also you get asked, sometime in numericals also they ask ki at t equals to 0 at start, what is the value of slip? So slip is 1. Clear up to this? Can n be equal to ns? N is speed of rotor. ns is speed of rotating magnetic field which is produced by stator. So n and ns will never be equal. Why? Because of rotor inertia. Because of rotor inertia, n is always less than ns. So can slip be 0? When n becomes equal to ns, then what will be the value of s? Yes, suppose consider karo n and ns are equal, then what will be the value of s? 0. Very good. Okay, 36. Very good. It will be 0. So s can never be equal to 0 because n and ns can never be equal. Got it? So formula of slip, all of you got ns minus n upon ns. So suppose you get asked calculate the full load slip. So that time whatever is the speed is which one? Full load speed. Okay. So in general formula of slip is ns minus n upon ns. Okay. So if you get asked to calculate the full load slip, so formula of slip you know. So full load slip is at that time speed also full load speed. Clear? Okay. So what is the conclusion up till now? We have seen rotating magnetic field is produced by stator. Its speed is ns 120 f by p. RPM, revolutions per minute. Speed of rotor, capital N. Its unit also RPM. ns minus n upon ns is slip. At start, speed is 0. That's why slip is 1. N and ns can never be equal. N is always less than ns due to rotor inertia. That's why s will never be equal to 0. If you see what happens as you go on increasing load on motor, suppose load on motor you increase, what's about speed? Yes, if load on motor you increase, what's it's a three-phase induction motor. Input is three-phase electrical AC. What is its output? Mechanical. So as load on motor you go on increasing, what's about speed? Decreases. Very good. So if speed decreases, then what's about slip? It will go on. What's about slip? See the formula. Speed is decrease as you go on increasing load, speed decreases, so slip will increase. Okay. And what is the maximum value of slip? Who can tell? Yes. What is the maximum value of slip? 0, never possible. What is the maximum value of slip? Who can tell? 1. Very good. And when it is 1, at start only. When? Because speed is 0. So value of slip you will find in practical all applications. It is in this range only. Okay, 1 to 5%. That is 0.01 to 0.05. In this range only you will find the slip of induction motor. Now we have seen the working principle here. Okay, so let me clear this. Okay, working principle we have seen, it works on Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction and mutual induction. Okay, so up to this point, the moment till current is flowing through rotor, up to this point, whatever the EMF induced in rotor, okay, it is AC. And what is its frequency? Same as that of supply frequency. But later on what is happening? Current starts to flow, then rotor rotate. The moment rotor starts to rotate, this induced EMF, its magnitude also changes and its frequency also changes. Okay, so up to this point, when the rotor is stationary, whatever the EMF induced is called as E2. Once rotor starts to rotate, whatever the induced EMF in rotor is called as rotor induced EMF. Suffix 1 for stator, suffix 2 for rotor. When rotor is stationary, E2. When rotor starts to rotate, so induced EMF in rotor under running condition. That's why suffix is E2R. Clear? Okay. So suffix 1 for stator parameter, suffix 2 for rotor parameter. So here also E2, here also E2. Means both are regarding to induced EMF in rotor. Then what is the difference between E2 and E2R? E2 means what? It's an induced EMF in rotor when it is stationary. And E2R means what? It's an induced EMF in rotor only, but when the rotor starts to rotate. Okay, so how much it is equal to? S times E2. And at start, all of you know S is 1. At start, speed is 0. So S is 1. So that's why E2R is equals to E2. Means when the rotor at start, the moment you switch on three-phase AC supply for few millisecond, microsecond, whatever the EMF induced in rotor under E2R is equals to E2. Okay, and that is maximum. And then value of S changes, so induced EMF also will change. So this is the formula. All of you keep in your mind, because this one relationship you get asked based on this numericals. And FR, whatever the induced EMF, it is AC, its frequency also different. So how much frequency? Its frequency changes. FR is because speed is changing, so frequency also will change. So FR is equals to S into F. Okay, based on both the formula you will get as the numericals. So as rotor speed changes, S changes. That's why induced EMF in rotor also changes and its frequency also changes. So how to find it out? E2R is equals to S into E2 and FR is equals to S into F. At start, the moment you switch on supply, for that few millisecond, microsecond, whatever the induced EMF is E2 and it is maximum, and and frequency is same as that of supply frequency, 50 hertz. But as rotor starts to rotate, frequency starts to decrease. Okay, we'll see. Got our formula. So this, based on this formula, numericals will be there. What is the first formula? Ns is equals to 120 F by P. Okay, and N is equals to, see, all this formula you keep in your mind. Ns is equals to 120 F by P. Okay, S, this one, all three. At start, this one relationship also, this one also, and this one. So based on this, numerical are there on MCQ type also and 4 marks, 6 marks also. Read the numerical everyone and try to simplify. Read karo till that I'll take the attendance. Everyone please read numerical and try to solve. Again I am telling, numericals on it, MCQ questions are also there and 4 marks, 6 marks also there. So try to solve easy and numericals. I'll take attendance till that. You know all formula, try to solve. Yours is L division, it's 20th of April, 51 are there. Okay, so see here, 6-pole 3-phase induction motor, number of poles given. These are the poles on stator or on rotor? Yes, who can tell? Whatever the number of poles given here, which one you will consider, of stator or rotor? Yes, in the numerical, whatever the poles given, it is of stator. Okay, 6-pole 3-phase induction motor, it operates from a supply whose frequency is 50 hertz. Means these are the stator specification. 6 poles are there on stator. It's a 3-phase induction motor. Whatever the supply you give to its frequency is 50 hertz. What you have been asked to calculate? Speed at which magnetic field of rotor is speed at which magnetic field of stator is rotating. Now tell me, magnetic field of stator rotates at what speed? Yes, you can tell. Magnetic field of stator rotates at what speed? Means what that speed is called. I mean to say what that speed is called. Capital N or capital NS? NS. Very good. What is the formula? NS, which is called as synchronous speed. 120 F by P. All of you know the formula. Okay, so you can calculate it. NS is equals to 120 F by P. Frequency is 50 hertz. Number of poles 6 given. So 1000 RPM. NS. Got it? Okay. Second, speed of rotor when slip is 0.04. So slip is given and speed of rotor you have to calculate. So which one formula you can use? Yes, speed of rotor we denote by capital N. Slip by S. So slip is given to you. Suppose slip is 0.04. Slip is 0.04. What will be the speed of rotor? So formula we know, S is equals to NS minus N upon NS. If you simplify it, what formula we get? See here, N is equals to NS into 1 minus S. NS we know that remains constant. NS remains constant because frequency is constant and number of poles are constant. So NS remains constant. 1 minus S. S is given to you. S is given to you 0.04. 0.04. Okay. So put this value, you are getting 960 RPM. All of you can see N is always less than NS. Okay. Now you tell me, slip remains constant or it changes? Suppose load on induction motor I am changing continuously. Okay. Load on induction motor I am changing continuously. So tell me, slip remains constant or it changes? Who can tell? Slip formula, all of you know, it changes. Very good. Because formula of slip, all of you know, S is equals to NS minus N upon NS. As you go on increasing load, speed decreases. So slip will increase. Reverse will occur when you decrease the load. Clear? What is the conclusion? Means slip is not a constant parameter. Okay. As load on motor you go on changing, slip changes. Okay. Okay, so if slip is 0.04, then rotor will rotate at what speed? 960 RPM. Again, next question, see, full load slip is given to you. If the full load slip is 0.05, calculate the full load speed of motor. So only same formula you have to use, only slip is full load and speed is full load. So full load slip is given 0.05, so speed will be least because full load means it is fully loaded, means maximum load on it, so speed will be less, right? Because more the load, lesser will be the speed. So all of you can see at maximum load, slip will be load is maximum. Okay, so slip is 0.05. It is given to you. For fully loaded, slip is 0.05. So speed is how much? 950 RPM. Okay, for maximum load, speed is less. Okay, speed is less. And if you see this formula here, if it is fully loaded means, see the formula. If it is fully loaded means what? Speed is minimum. Right now, speed is minimum. If speed is minimum, then slip is maximum. Means maximum value of slip is there at fully loaded condition. Okay, value of S can never be 1. It is always greater than 0 and less than 1. And it will never be equal to, value of S will be equal to 1 at start, but it can never be equal to 0. Okay, value of S is equal to 1 at start, but it will never be equal to 0. And maximum is the load on motor, minimum is the speed. So slip is maximum, that point. Okay. And maximum value of slip is 1, which is there at the start. Okay. These are the two things are there. At start, speed is 0, so slip is maximum and which is equals to 1. But if continuously we are changing the load on motor, what is the another parameter? If load is maximum, then speed is minimum. So whatever is that slip, that also will be maximum. Okay, clear? Then next is, so all of you getting full load speed 950 RPM. Okay, clear the third one parameter, full load speed. Got it? Okay, next one we'll see. What is the next one parameter? They ask you fourth one. Frequency of rotor current when slip is this 0.03. So we have seen the formula. What is it? Fr is equals to S into F. Okay. So whatever the induced EMF in rotor, its formula we know. It is AC, which is equal to S into E2. Okay, whatever the frequency of this induced EMF is AC, it has frequency, its frequency is how much? S times supply frequency. So S times supply frequency is the frequency of induced EMF of rotor. This formula all of you know. So what you have been asked, frequency of rotor current when slip is 0.03. Okay, so here slip all of you know, frequency of supply given 50 hertz. So all of you can see its frequency is less. So as load you change, slip changes, frequency of induced EMF changes. So it is very less. All of you can see. And on frequency, which losses depends? Yes, you can tell me. See here, very important parameter. What is the supply frequency? Yes, what is supply frequency? Supply frequency is how much? F, what is its value in India? What is the value of supply frequency? 3 phase, 50 hertz. So for on stator side, we are giving 3 phase AC supply. What is the frequency there? 50 hertz. Now that rotating magnetic field comes in contact with rotor. In rotor also EMF is induced, and what is that frequency? S times F, which is very less. All of you can see, because S is in the range 0.01 to 0.05 in practical applications. So 0.05 times of 50 hertz or 0.1 times of 50 hertz is very less. All of you can see. Okay, it is very less. So tell me, means frequency is different. There is a difference in frequency. For stator side, frequency is very high. Rotor side, frequency is very less. Now you tell me on frequency which losses depends. We have seen losses, its formula. You tell me on which losses depends on frequency. Tell me. Because when we see power flow diagram of three-phase induction motor, this is also important parameter in losses in power flow diagram of three-phase induction motor. Tell me which losses depends on frequency. Remember which losses takes place in magnetic material, hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. Do you remember the formula of hysteresis loss and eddy current loss? Is frequency parameter there in both the formulas, right? Means which losses depends on frequency? Yes, hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. Okay, which are the core losses? Means the losses which takes place in magnetic material. Now stator core made up of magnetic material, rotor core made up of magnetic material. Stator side frequency is more, rotor side frequency is less. Now you tell me core losses of stator are more or core losses of rotor are more. Tell me. All of you can compare here frequency. Stator side frequency is 50 hertz, rotor side frequency is hardly 1.5 hertz. Okay, so where the losses are more, stator losses are more or rotor? Stator losses are more. Very good. Okay, so clear. When we'll see power flow diagram, this is the parameter you keep in your mind. Stator side frequency is very high compared to rotor side, so stator side core losses are more compared to rotor side. Rotor side frequency is very less. That's why in power flow diagram of three-phase induction motor, rotor core losses they neglect, but stator core losses they don't. Clear to you? Okay. This one also the important parameter. Okay. So 1.5 hertz is the frequency of induced EMF in rotor. Okay, next one clear up to this to everyone. Fourth one, next see frequency of rotor current at standstill. Who can tell? Yes, fifth one answer. Who can tell? At standstill. Standstill means what? At start. The moment you switch on supply, that is at standstill. Tell me. No, it's not zero. Frequency of rotor current at standstill 50 hertz. Very good. Because see at standstill formula all of you know, Fr is equals to S into F. At start, the moment you switch on, speed is zero. If speed is zero in this formula, what is S, which is equals to 1, which is maximum. If S is 1 in this formula, and into 50 is the 50 hertz. Clear? So the moment you switch on for few millisecond, microsecond, rotor don't rotate. So S is 1. So for that few millisecond, microsecond, whatever the induced EMF in rotor, its frequency is 50 hertz. It is only for microsecond, few microsecond, or maybe time which is very less than that. Clear this sum? This sum everyone prepare. Okay. MCQ questions based on this. Then 4 marks, 6 marks question. Sub part of it for 1 mark. Complete sum for 4 or 6 marks. Got the sum? Can we go for next topic? Clear sum? Easy hai? Synchronous speed of rotating magnetic field 120 F by F slip is given to you. You can calculate speed or reverse. Sometimes speed they mention, you get asked to calculate the slip. Same formula you can use for full load also. This formula you know, Fr is equals to S into F. So for some particular slip, value of frequency of induced EMF in rotor you can calculate, and at standstill, at start, this formula you keep in your mind. At standstill, at start, S is always 1 and Fr is always 50. Same as that of supply frequency. Can we go for next part? Okay. Next one part is torque equation of three-phase induction motor. Can we start with next part? Yes. Up to this, everyone clear? Reply in chat box. Can we go for next topic? Got the sum? Up to this clear? Okay. We'll start with next topic. That is the torque equation of three-phase induction motor. Once we derive the torque equation on this, derive the expression for torque of induction motor. And once we derive the torque equation, we can go for torque slip characteristics of three-phase induction motor. Okay. So who can tell me torque motor produces? This one we have seen. Tell me torque produced. We are going to derive the expression for this torque. Which acts on rotor and due to which rotor starts to rotate. Now tell me here this torque, what do you think? This one torque which acts on each and every rotor conductor, it depends on which parameter? Yes, tell me. What do you think? Which one are the parameters on which it depends? Many parameters are there. Any 1, 2 parameters can you tell? Yes, this torque produced, it depends on which parameter? Current, very good. Which one current? Rotor current. Again which parameter? Does this depend on magnetic field? Rotating magnetic field also it depends. This one, again cos phi. Okay, so these are the parameters which are used in derivation. So whatever the torque which acts on rotor conductor, it depends on stator flux. Okay, because this is the flux which is produced by stator. And because of this flux only EMF is induced in rotor, right? It depends on current flowing through rotor also. And cos phi means power factor. Power factor of what? Obviously torque acts on rotor. So obviously rotor power factor, but which one under running condition. Okay, so these are the three parameters they have considered here: rotating magnetic field, rotor current, and rotor power factor under running condition. 2 means what? Stationary, and 2R means what? Running condition. Okay, now whatever this this rotating magnetic field which is produced by stator, it depends on supply voltage, that is the stator voltage. We have seen working principle of three-phase induction motor is same as that of transformer. It works on Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, mutual induction. Stator winding we can consider as primary. Second, rotor winding we can consider as secondary of transformer. So whatever is the transformation ratio formula for transformer, same you can use for three-phase induction motor. That's why I can write E2 by E1 is equals to K. So here flux produced by flux produced depends on E1, means what we can say E2 depends on flux. Actually it is like this: whatever the voltage you apply to induction motor, in proportion to it produces rotating magnetic field. Flux, whatever this flux rotating magnetic field, on its magnitude, its speed depends on rotor induced EMF. Okay, it is the case like this. Means whatever the, see again I'll repeat this, EMF get induced in rotor, so it depends on rotating magnetic field which is produced by stator, and rotating magnetic fields produced by stator depends on supply voltage. Okay, that's why what we can write, E2 is directly proportional to phi. Okay, means here we can replace this phi by E2. That does mean. Okay, so here you can see they have replaced phi by E2. The next one parameter is what? I2R. It's a current under running condition which is equals to I formula all of you know, E by Z. So which is equals to E2R by Z2R. So E2R is what? S into E2. Formula for impedance all of you know, that is square root of R square plus X square. So here R2 square, whatever the formula we use for E2R is S time E2. Same is the formula for impedance also. X2R is S time X2. Okay. And for frequency also we have seen F2R is equals to S into F. So same in same terms. This derivation not there in your syllabus directly, this formula. Okay. Otherwise its derivation is there in BL Thareja. E2R is equals to S time E2, X2R is equals to S times X2. So we got the formula for I2R also. And what is cos of phi? Impedance triangle, all of you know, impedance triangle. Along this R is equals to Z cos phi. This one we have seen number of times. This is Z, along this is R. This three-phase induction motor is considered as inductive type of load. So XL is there. Inductive type of load it is. So XL. So all of you know cos phi is R by Z, or R is equals to Z cos phi. So R is R2 and Z2R, same formula whatever we have used here for Z2R, same formula. Okay, so put this equation, whatever we have seen up till now, means E2 in this formula we have seen torque depends on flux I2R and cos of phi 2R. So this flux will be replaced by E2R. We are going to replace it by E2. Flux we are going to replace it by E2 I2R. That is what is the formula for it? E by Z, and for this R by Z. Okay, so in this one equation we will put this equation 2, 3 and 4. Put it, so simplify it, you will get it like this. See, flux is equals to E2. This is the formula for I2R, and this is the formula for cos of phi 2R. Okay, so simplify this. This is the similar parameter. So in denominator it will be like this, and in the numerator here E2 square S into R. Got it? This proportionality constant for three-phase induction motor is 3 divided by 2 pi ns. Capital Ns is what? Synchronous speed of rotating magnetic field in revolutions per minute. And small ns is what? Synchronous speed of rotating magnetic field, but it is in RPS. That is only the difference. Capital Ns in RPM, small ns in rps. Okay, so this proportionality constant k is equals to 3 divided by 2 pi ns. Clear for three phase induction motor. So put here value of k in this formula. Okay, put here. So this is the torque expression. So T is equals to 3 divided by 2 pi ns s into e2 square r2 divided by r2 square plus s into x2 square. Okay, so if you observe it, does torque depend on slip? As load changes, what's about slip? Does it change or remains constant? Yes. As load on motor changes, does speed of rotor changes? Consider it's a three-phase induction motor. On it load you are changing. So speed changes, this capital N changes. So slip will change or not? Yes, slip will change or not? It changes. So torque also produced by motor changes because torque depends on slip. Again, it depends on induced EMF in rotor at standstill condition. It is not under rotating condition. What is it? E2 means what? Induced EMF in rotor at standstill condition. Under, again, it depends on R2 and X2, which are the rotor resistance and rotor reactance. But again, at what condition? At standstill. Okay. So these all are standstill parameter, E2, R2 and X2. And it depends on slip also. Okay. It depends on ns also, but ns is constant because frequency is constant, number of poles on stator are constant. So this parameter is constant. Means what we can say, torque produced by motor, it depends on slip. Nothing but it depends on speed of motor, nothing but it depends on load. As you go on changing load, speed changes, slip changes. It depends on E2, it depends on R2 and X2. But okay, and R2 and X2 are considered as constant. Once rotor get designed, R2 and X2 remains constant unless and until, if it is a slip ring induction motor, unless and until you don't add external resistance in it. If rotor resistance you are going to keep constant, so R2 and X2 are constant. Okay, now starting torque. At start, what is the value of S? Yes, at start means the moment you switch on, what is the value of S? 1. Very good. Okay, it is 1. At start, so put here S is equals to 1, you will get starting torque. At start, speed is 0, so S is 1. So in this formula, if you put S is equals to 1, you will get the formula for starting torque. Got it? So this is the formula for starting torque and this is the expression for torque. Clear up to this to all of you? Okay. Can we go for next topic? Clear derivation? Yes. Can we go for next topic? Got the derivation? We'll see now torque slip characteristics of three-phase induction motor. Got it up to this to everyone? Okay, we'll go for now next topic, that is the torque slip characteristics of three-phase induction motor. Okay, so this is about the derivation of torque. What we have seen up till now, we have derived the formula for torque produced by three-phase induction motor. This is a formula on which parameters it depends that we have seen, and a starting torque, put S is equals to 1 in above formula, we get the expression for starting torque. Okay, now we'll derive the torque slip characteristics of three-phase induction motor. Now all of you know that is the input voltage. Consider in input voltage to three-phase induction motor is constant, that is 415 volt. So E2 also is constant. E2 means what? It's an induced EMF in rotor at standstill condition. So if E1 is constant, primary side voltage, E2 also will be constant. Okay, so in this formula, if you see, E2 is constant because it is the induced EMF at standstill. Input voltage to three-phase induction motor is constant, then E2 also constant. Okay, so this one also constant. So what we can say, torque is directly proportional to S into R2 divided by R2 square plus S X2 square. Okay, we are going to see torque slip characteristics of three-phase induction motor. Now if you observe, we have derived the formula of torque. This one parameter is constant. Now if input voltage is constant, then E2 also will be constant because E2 by E1 is K. Okay, so E2 also constant. So what we can say, torque is directly proportional to S into R2 divided by this complete parameter. Okay, so this is the formula which we'll use to explain the torque slip characteristics. Okay, so observe this. Now here R2 is rotor resistance and X2 is rotor reactance. Okay, now whatever this torque slip characteristics, now you tell me torque depends on slip or slip depends on torque. Yes, torque depends on slip or slip depends on torque. As you change load on motor, speed changes, then speed changes, slip also changes, and then torque will change. So slip depends on torque or torque depends on slip. Torque depends on slip. That's why torque you will take along y-axis or x-axis. Along y-axis which parameter? Because dependent parameter we take always along y-axis. So torque is along y-axis. Very good, those who are answering. Okay, so torque slip characteristics, torque along y-axis and slip along x-axis. Okay, now see here torque slip characteristics. So in this torque slip characteristics, you have next lecture na, at 10:15. Okay, we'll stop here. Torque slip characteristics tomorrow we'll take because it takes 15-20 minutes. So torque slip characteristics in tomorrow's lecture we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to end here meeting.